How I look? Pretty good. What is up, everyone, man? This is the first episode of the SDM Effect, where we're going to talk about real life, growth, real faith, and real change. Today, we're stepping into something deep, something personal, you know, something that every single one of us has to face at some point of our life. We're going to talk about new beginnings. Not the cute kind, not the new year, new me kind. I'm talking about the kind where you look at your life and say, I can't keep living like this. Something has to change. This episode for anybody who's tired of carrying the old version of themselves into the future that deserves better. So let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to talk about letting go of the old version of you. Because there comes a point in time where the old version of you becomes too small for the life you're trying to grow into. The old version might have been comfortable, predictable, familiar, but familiar doesn't mean healthy. You can't heal and you can't stay the same. You can't grow and stay the same. You can't elevate and stay the same. The old you was built for survival, not for purpose. It was shaped by pain, by environment, by habit you didn't even choose. But the new you, that's intentional, that's chosen, and guess what? That's crafted. Letting go isn't disrespecting who you were. It's honoring who you were becoming. Because just know, your past doesn't define you. Your past is a chapter, not your story. Your mistakes are lessons, not labels. Your failures are moments, not identities. People love to remind you of who you used to be. Oh man, they just believe it. They love to say, I remember you and you, or you ain't changed, or you think you better now? Listen, your past is not a prison. It's a reference point. It shows how far you've come. God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. You know what I mean? It's something the people who knew, and sometimes people who know the old you can't handle the new you. That's not your problem. That's not who you were. You're who you're becoming. And let's talk about the fear of change. Let's be honest. Change is scary. Not because you're weak, but because you're human. When you start growing, you step into the unknown. You step into rooms you've never been in. You start thinking differently, moving differently, and speaking differently. And that's when fear creeps in. What if I fail? What if people don't support me? What if I lose everything? But here's the truth. You might lose some things, but you know what? You'll gain yourself. Growth requires sacrifice. Elevation requires separation. Transformation requires discomfort. You can't stay where you are and become who you're meant to be. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to lose friends on the way. Family will start distancing you. You know what I mean? This is part nobody talks about. When you start changing, some people will fall back. Not because you did something wrong, but because your growth exposes their comfort. Some friends won't clap for you. Some family won't understand you. Some people will say you're acting different. And you know what? Yeah, you are. You know why? Because you're healing, you're growing, you're breaking cycles, you're stepping into your purpose. If someone can't respect your growth, then they were never meant to walk into your next chapter. You're not losing people, you're losing distractions, you're losing limitations, and you're losing dead weight. So here's what I say. Let them go. Wish them well. Keep it moving. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because when God calls you higher, you know what I mean? There's a moment when God starts pulling you into a higher version of yourself. You feel it before you understand it. You feel it before you can explain it. You feel it before anybody else can see it. And that's the part that gets lonely. Because when God calls you higher, He doesn't send a group text. He doesn't announce it to your friends. He doesn't ask your family for permission. He whispers to you. And when you start moving different, people think you're acting funny. But you're not acting funny, you're acting called. Some people won't understand your elevation because they were never meant to understand your assignment. Your calling wasn't a conference call. You know, like let's talk about the part nobody posts on Instagram, the silent battles. The nights you question yourself, the mornings you don't feel motivated, the moments where you're wondering if you're really changing or just pretending. You know, and guess what? Growth is not loud. It's not glamorous. It's not always inspiring. You know, sometimes growth looks like sitting with your emotions instead of running, choosing peace instead of reacting, walking away instead of proving a point, saying no when you used to say yes, breaking habits that you used to control. You know, there are battles nobody sees, but there's battles that build you. You're not weak for struggling. You're not, you're strong for continuing. Every silent battle you win becomes a loud victory later. There comes a time when you realize the environment that you're in can't support the person you're becoming. You can't grow in soil that was never meant to nourish you. You can't evolve in a place that you're only knows the old you. You can't elevate in a room that's comfortable with your limitations. Sometimes God removes you from environments because he knows you'll shrink yourself to stay accepted. You ever notice how a plant grows bigger when you move it into a bigger pot? You know, it wasn't the plant that was small, it was the pot. It has room to grow now. Some of you are not broken. You're not failing. You're not behind. You're just planted into a place too small for your purpose. Your environment matters. Your circle matters. Your atmosphere matters. You know, choosing places that feed your future and not your past. You know, because becoming a better version of yourself comes with the cost. You'll lose people, but you'll lose habits. You'll lose comfort. You will lose old identities. But what you gain is worth more than what you lose. Because you know what? You gain clarity. You gain peace. You gain purpose. You gain confidence. You gain alignment. And the biggest gain, guess what it is? You gain you, the real you, the healed you, the disciplined you, the focused you. Oh, excuse me, the version of you that God always saw, even when you did it. Man, I'm getting chill bumps because becoming isn't easy, but it's necessary. And the price you pay today becomes the freedom you feel tomorrow. You know, a new beginning isn't a moment, it's a decision. A decision to stop letting your past speak louder than your future. A decision to stop letting your fear control your steps. A decision to stop shrinking yourself to fit into places you've already outgrown. Your new beginning starts when you say, I'm done living small. I'm done living scared. I'm done living for approval. I'm done living as the old me. Your new beginning starts when you choose healing over hurt, purpose over comfort, and faith over fear. You know, and also, growth over familiarity, if I even said that word right. You know, you don't need permission, you don't need validation, and you sure don't need applause. You just need courage. Your new beginning is not coming. It's already here, and you're ready for it. You know, and guess what? That's today's full episode. If this message hit your spirit, if it made you think, if it made you breathe a little deeper, then you're already stepping into the right beginning. And always remember, your past is a lesson, not a life sentence. Your growth is proof that you're evolving. Your future is bigger than your fear. Keep walking, keep trusting, keep becoming. You know what I mean? And, check it out. This is the SDM effect. Real life, growth, faith, and real change. Until next time, stay locked in, stay focused, and stay becoming. It's your boy, man. Peace.